searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair, because eyes so bright. They look into my
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Scheananigans. My mom and sister are here in the studio with me today. I've already gotten insulted by my sister for my hair.
I just said if I was podcasting, I would have done my hair differently. That's all.
Well, you know what? When I podcast, normally, as we all know, I wear a hat. And today, I left my hat in the car. My husband drove the car home with my daughter. My mom picked me up. Here we are. It's fresh out of the shower. It's in a bun. So how would you have done my hair?
There's just like a couple different bun options we could have went with. We could have went with like a part with like a low.
Yeah,
and
if I had product.
And then, no, you didn't need product. And then you could do two little twisties and then twist
I
them
have
together.
one giant scrunchie.
What's
That is
wrong
all
with
I
it,
had.
Courtney?
I wouldn't even consider that a bun these days. We don't need to get into it.
Anywho, we are joined by a very special guest today from all the way across the pond. She is a national treasure. She's a star on screen, on stage, a best-selling author, a beloved television presenter, a media personality, my favorite, loose woman. She is known by the fans of 1975 as Maddie's mom. Please welcome to the podcast our dear friend Denise Welch. How we doing?
I'm so excited to be here.
Yay.
And I like your hair, Scheana.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do.
It was really, I tried a high pony and then I did like this messy bun and I was like, you know what? I have so much frizz today. It's literally just air dried. There's no heat on it.
Just forget I said anything.
I didn't say anything.
Well, that's all I'm thinking about. It's called OCD, intrusive thoughts, and then things just loop
Wow,
in my
Court.
head, and then I just start thinking.
I
but
didn't
you know
say
what?
anything.
Court's already said that her mom's a hypochondriac for having a cold.
Well,
I think she
Son
used
in the
that
family.
word. I'm not a hypochondriac.
I'm loving
Mom.
this
No,
family
I might
thing.
be sick, but I'm
No,
not a hypochondriac.
I think there's actually just always something wrong.
yeah, it's not,
It's
I'm not
something in her
making it
head.
up. I know, don't go to the doctor
Like,
that
there's
often,
just
but
always
there's just
something wrong with her.
I mean,
Is that true,
wow.
Erica?
I
There's
don't
always
think
something
so.
wrong with you.
And if there is, it doesn't stop me from doing my every single
That's
day-to-day
true.
Exactly.
activity.
You push through all your illnesses.
I'm never one to just stay in bed. I get up, I do what I've got to do. I take
but you
care of
let
Summer.
us know the entire
If I
time
have a
that you're
headache,
doing it.
yeah, that's
what's wrong.
I
Yeah.
let them know, not just anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah,
okay.
that's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
So-
But hypochondria, yeah, no.
I think that answers how we're doing today.
We're great.
So, what brought you to LA? I'm so glad we get some time with you. We didn't get to see you last time.
I know, exactly. So, well, I come here quite a lot, as you know, because we met probably about 8 years ago.
It was 2017 to be exact.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 6 years
I was
ago.
with my ex-boyfriend.
You were.
at
long
the
you were with
Greek.
the, you were with the television hanging guy.
Yeah, the
You
7-minute
were.
man.
So should I say, Matty, as Scheana said in the introduction, so my son Matty is the lead singer of the 1975 and woo woo. And I was at the Greek seeing him and there were loads of, there were quite lots of famous people around and, everybody was sort of star spotting and having a great time. Anyway, I said to Matty, just come out for 10 minutes because I've got a bunch of friends here as well. And I'm sort of having a drink backstage. And suddenly, Matthew said he heard me shriek. And I went, can I swear on here?
Yes.
I said, oh my fucking God. I said, oh my fucking God, there's Scheana from Vanderpump Rules. And I fought my way through this array of people.
That's so funny.
And apparently there was this sort of Iranian princess. She went to the side. She was thrown
I
to
did
the
not
side.
know this.
And I came straight over to you. And it's really difficult. But it's not difficult. It's just that because I'm obviously well known and have been for a
Sure.
long time, because I've been around a long time. I'm 110. And
You look great.
so I sort of shrieked over. And you were just having a drink with television hanging guy, Rob.
Yes.
Rob.
Yeah.
And I just went, hi, Scheana, you don't know me from a bar of soap, but I'm Maddie's mom, like this. And then you told me that you'd come to the band because of your mom, Erica.
Yes. So my mom and sister literally is their favorite band.
Yeah.
And so I had heard songs when we'd be in the car just at the house. And I have to tell you now, at my new house, we have Sonos, like this whole what is it called?
Sound system.
Sound system throughout the whole
from
house.
Every ceiling everywhere. And 1975 radio is our go-to to play
Yeah,
in the
it
house.
really?
We always
But
are playing.
I became a fan because of my mom and sister listening to their music. And then when I started dating Rob, he tells me one of his favorite bands is the 1975. He's like, do you want to go see them? And I was like, I don't really know a ton of their songs. I've heard them, but I'm like, I'm always down to go to a live show. And so we go that night and been a huge fan ever since.
This mad woman comes over. And then you must have told Mum, and then we started talking, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't
On
remember.
Twitter,
I don't
think.
remember. Was it on Twitter?
I don't remember.
And
how
then
it,
we've been friends ever since. So
Yeah,
it's kind of the mutual appreciation
Right.
society, because I am, as well as being a sort of, actor and presenter at home, if I was doing Mastermind, which is this show where you have a specialist subject, it would be Bravo.
I love that.
I love
It
it.
would be everything Bravo, which is literally teetering on an obsession.
Yeah.
So,
I
for me
love
to be
that.
here today is better than any interviews I could do back in the
Oh
UK.
my gosh.
I'm obsessed. And Vanderpump Rules is, as you know, Scheana, one of my favorites.
Well, thank you.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, we do have some Bravo stuff to get into, so let's do a little Vanderpump talk. We said we were going to
Okay.
pause it when the
Oh,
season wrapped.
I know. I thought we were, but Denise is here.
Denise is here. So
Well, we did touch on Schwartz's hair. This is the things for me. Thank God he went back to the, to the normal hair, because like I was saying before we started rolling on this, it wasn't just the color. It was like, when people wear a bad wig, and they just put on this wig or this syrup, as we call it at home. It was like that. And he's such a good looking guy.
Sure.
It was a shame.
Yeah,
So
it was
I'm glad
bad.
that he's reverted.
Yeah.
well, Sandoval is on Traitors this next season. How are we feeling about that?
Oh my God. Right. Traitors, another favorite. And I'm going to put this out here now. So we have Traitors UK, but we have it with regular non-celebrity players.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just, I think it's just the most brilliant concept, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Our own Claudia Winkleman hosts it and she's brilliant, blah, blah, blah. The Australian one I love.
Is it only non-celebrities or is it a mix?
No, it's non-celebrities.
Okay.
So it's completely non-celebrities. By all accounts, they are going to, at some point, do a celebrity version. But my idea, because I love it here in LA, because Matty lives here now, because did I tell you he's got a place here? So, and he's got engaged to a girl from
I love
Laguna
that.
Beach.
Congrats. I'm excited for him.
Congratulations.
We went up there yesterday
She's
without
cute.
her to see her parents. She's gorgeous.
She's so cute.
She's
Oh my gosh.
she's cute and she's a lovely person. So I'm very,
Yeah.
very thrilled.
And an
But-
OC girl.
Yeah, she's an OC girl.
Yeah, I
So
love
is
that.
Courtney.
Yeah. And so anyway, she so because of those reasons, I come here a lot, but I'll be here more.
Yay.
I thought, oh my God, because Traitors US always have a couple of Brits in it.
Are you just putting it out there?
I'm just putting
Just
it out
putting it
there.
out there.
They have a couple of Brits in it. Now, obviously, actress and presenter is my job, but I am also, because everything is about reality television on the Traitors,
Yeah.
I am the winner of Celebrity Big Brother.
There you go.
That's right.
So that would be it doesn't matter that you're an actress
Put it
or a
out
presenter, whatever. I'm putting it out there that I would be ready and willing to, I don't know how good I would be on Traitors because I'd probably cry a lot. But
Same.
yeah, I would be just so sensitive. I know I would.
Wow.
Because on Traitors, it's that thing of nobody can choose who's going to be the traitor. We can't decide
Right.
if Alan Cumming is going to tap you on the shoulder.
Mhm.
But I don't understand that when it gets down to the nitty gritty, they're saying, how could you turn on me like that? I trust you. It's like, what do you mean?
It's a game.
It's a game.
Yeah.
The way that Mercedes was the MJ from
I
Shahs of
know.
Sunset, which I also love. It was so horrible at the end.
She's a good friend of Scheana's.
I know.
I mean,
I felt so
I
bad,
felt so
but
bad for her. But then watching the reunion, she has it in for those guys. And at the end of the day, you want to scream, yeah, but MJ, they don't know you. They don't really have,
right.
they don't have to give you the money.
Yeah.
Because it is a game. But it must be very hard when you're in there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine.
Well, I feel like on other shows too, like I feel like on other shows, people realize it's a game even more. Like on Big Brother, I feel like when people have to make game decisions, it seems like people are a bit more understanding. Like when they go outside and they do their little exit interview, they're always like, it's a game. I think it's a good game move. So I wonder what it is about traitors that people have a hard time understanding.
Tell me on Big Brother, Courtney, that you're because one of the guys that was in it, I think it was Dan. He was a Big Brother.
Dan Giesling.
He was a double Big Brother winner.
won.
Yeah.
Now they kept talking about the game plan. When I was in Big Brother, which was 2012 in Celebrity Big Brother, what do they mean by the game plan in Big Brother?
I'm trying to remember,
Because
Dan,
we would
exactly.
we didn't have to sort of do anything other than be there and kind of survive. The nomination,
like alliances.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was
stuff.
going to say. They go in, they make alliances.
Well, I think this was Dan. I might be wrong, but similar to what we saw of the Cookout a couple seasons ago, I think it was Dan's season where like he had an alliance and then he had everyone in his alliance go and make buddies
another
with someone
person
outside of the
outside.
alliance. So then they can
Oh.
continue to put one person up from the alliance and one person that wasn't on the block every week, and they'd vote out the person who wasn't in the
oh,
alliance.
you see,
so
I
they're
wasn't.
hiding it.
I clearly wasn't
it's
clever
a
enough
lot
to do
of
that.
gameplay.
It was
A
like
lot of gameplay.
What happened
thinking.
with me in mine? Because people always say, "Did you have a wonderful time in? Did you have a good time in it?" And I always say, "Not really. I think it depends who you're in with."
Yeah.
So I tend to know everybody who's on the telly back at home. You know,
Yeah.
I read the mail online. I know everybody's. And I walked in, I knew some people, but I didn't know others. And there was one American guy in there called Michael Marsden from the Quentin Tarantino films. He was in like Kill Bill, and he's a Quentin Tarantino actor. But they're not the type of movies that I watch, so I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
But some of the young guys, Romeo from So Solid Crew, and Kirk from The Only Way is Essex, they all went, "Oh my God, Michael Marsden." Anyway, I got on with him really, really well. And after day 6, so the first 6 days, we really enjoyed it. You had no phone. There was something lovely about being cut off from the world. I had been going through quite a bit of shit in my personal life, which nobody knew. I'd been going through a split with my husband and blah, blah, blah. And I had met Lincoln, but nobody knew, so I couldn't talk about that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't in the greatest of places. So kind of being cut off from the world was what I needed. And you do forget the cameras are there. Anyway, I'm waffling on. But after 6 days, when everybody was getting on, and there's quite a lot of you, they said you have to nominate. Now, you obviously like everybody.
Yeah.
But you know that you have to nominate because that's the game. So I nominated, there was this young model in it called Georgia, and she was incredibly sweet, a young Irish girl, but she hadn't really said anything. And she had partnered up with the Playboy twins. There was 2 of the Shannon twins who had been married to Hugh Hefner. So I didn't really know her. And so when I nominated, I said, look, I'm going to nominate Georgia because for the simple reason is, she's not bringing a lot to the house. I'm sure she will. But for right now, I just don't have much of a relationship with her. So I can only think to nominate her. And I said, and I'm going to nominate Michael. I really like Michael. I get on with him. I have a laugh with him. I think he's a great housemate. I said, but after a week, I know what his dog's called, what his kids are called, where he lives, what films he's been in. He doesn't even know why I'm in Celebrity Big Brother. He hasn't asked me one question.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I'm going to nominate him just simply because he doesn't seem that interested, which
Yeah.
is fine.
Well.
Anyway, they showed the nominations, which they never normally do.
Oh.
And the turn was, I couldn't believe it. He hated on me.
Aw.
And I kept saying, but we had to nominate.
Right.
Yeah.
We had no
That's-
choice. And I said,
yeah.
Michael, it was only because you're from Hollywood, you're from a different life to me, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that was just it.
Wow.
And then the meanness was,
Mm.
off the
Oh,
scale.
yeah.
So people said, what was the best thing about winning? And I said, Michael Marsden's face.
And I feel like that's the thing with traitors is when you have reality stars, but then you have gamers. Yes, they're on reality shows, but they're on game shows. So you have the people like on Survivor, Big Brother,
And there's
the
something called the challenge, which I don't
Yes.
know, but you have the
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, that's been on for like 20
Yeah.
years. So there's the people who go in. I actually just met Trishelle. Her and
Oh,
MJ
yes.
were together at the Critics' Choice Awards last weekend. So I was talking to all of them after, and Trishelle is a big Bravo fan as well. And she was like, if you ever get asked on Traitors, like, I can give you so many tips. I'm a gamer. Like, I
Oh
just
my
like,
God, Sheena, what
and
if we
she
did it
won.
together?
Oh my gosh.
Imagine that.
Putting it out there. But yeah, so I feel like that's the one thing with traders with like MJ and Trishelle. They're like, it's a game. And MJ's like, I thought you were my friend.
I thought you were my friends. I know it was so, I mean, I have to say it was heartbreaking at the end. But heartbreaking, but incredible. It's great television, isn't it? The Traitors.
Oh,
it is
so
really
good.
It is really good.
But if they have one in the UK with normal people, they should do like a mixed season.
That's what they did the first season here.
Oh,
They
really?
They did first season
That's
when
cool.
Brandy and that did it from Beverly Hills Housewives.
Yeah.
They did a mix.
Civilians versus celebrities.
Yeah. I think
And
there's
now
a
they
couple
just
other
do it
reality shows that
reality.
they're doing more of that
Yeah.
now. I
They've
think that's
never done
cool.
anything like that in the UK of doing like a mix. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of games, I do have a game we're going to play. We're going to take a quick little break and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, so whether you're staying home or heading out on summer explorations, KiwiCo is inviting kids and kids at heart to enjoy their first ever summer adventure series. Kids from 2 years old to teens can receive 6 hands-on science and art project kits for over 6 weeks with enriching content and fun activities to accompany each project. KiwiCo has something for everyone and offers different topics for each age. Whether your child wants to explore space or learn about dinosaurs, there's something for every kid. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I'm not the craftiest, most creative person, but KiwiCo makes it so easy for you. It comes delivered to your door. They've got all of the stuff you need to make something super fun with your kid. It's activities that I don't mind doing with summer because they're quick and easy. You've got the instructions right there, and it's just great quality time you spend with your kid, and they love seeing that they created this project from scratch. At least my daughter does. KiwiCo encourages kids to get outside, explore, and stay off their screens. It's just so important. You can choose your expedition with this summer camp alternative, the Summer Adventure Series. It's a personalized experience. And let me tell you, as a parent, it can be hard to find creative ways to keep your children busy and challenged, but KiwiCo does the legwork for you. So build the best summer ever with KiwiCo. Get 20% off your summer adventure series at kiwico.com/summerhoney. That's 20% off your summer adventure at kiwico.com/summerhoney. All right, y'all, summer is here, and I mean the season, obviously, my daughter too, but the season is here, and your wardrobe needs an upgrade, right? Because I know ours did, especially with how quick my summer is growing. She is constantly needing to get new clothes. But instead of a flimsy, fast fashion haul, I thought it would be smart if you do what we do and spend your money wisely on high quality essentials that will last beyond the season. Quince is my spot for quiet luxury without paying luxury prices, because if you know me, you know I can be a little bit frugal. Quince offers a range of must-haves like 100% European linen under, get this, $50, luxury mulberry silk skirts, and of course, Italian leather bags and 14 karat gold jewelry from $30. All of their prices are 50 to 80% less than similar brands. And because Quince creates timeless classics that won't go out of fashion, you'll have them in your closet forever or to pass down to family members just to, keep it in the fam. Summer and I have gotten so many cute new items. I've gotten some little matching sets for her, some sweaters we got her for the winter, but now I've got her these really cute legging matching sets. I got myself some new crop tops, and we all know I love a crop top, especially for summer. Upgrade your closet this summer with Quince. Right now, go to quince.com/honey to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's QUINCE.com/honey for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/honey. All right. So speaking of your son's band, the 1975, I thought it would be fitting to make you choose some of your favorites with a game of this or that.
Okay.
So I'm going to name 2 songs
from the
1975.
Right.
You're going to let me know which song you like better. And then the winning song is going to move to the next round. So at the end, we're going to see which song ends up being your favorite.
This is my worst nightmare, honestly. Go on. Okay.
Okay. Somebody Else or The Sound?
Somebody Else.
Somebody Else or Chocolate?
For nostalgia reasons, chocolate.
Ooh, okay. Chocolate or I'm in Love with You?
I'm in love with you.
Okay.
Look
I'm
at
in
your
love
mum
with
nodding.
you.
I'm like,
R.I.P. chocolate.
I'm in love with you, or it's not living if it's not with you.
I'm in love with you.
I'm in love with you, or love it if we made it.
From a personal listening to, I'm in love with you, but from the impact and the message, love it if we made it.
Okay. Love it if we made it, or robbers.
They're all so good.
I know, they're all so good.
I mean,
love
I
it if we made it.
Okay. Love it if we made it, or about you.
About you. It's one of my favorites.
Okay. About you, or two time.
About you.
About you, or sincerity is scary.
You see, it's because I love the video of that. About you.
About you, or change of heart.
I think About You's going to win the whole
It
game.
might.
About you.
I don't know. We got another good one coming up. About you, or Oh Caroline.
Can we just say we love all of Maddie's music?
Well, we do, but
About
it's a game.
you.
Okay. About you, or Nana.
Oh. I have to go Nana because it's about my mom.
Yeah, I knew that.
He loved his Nana.
Nana or wintering.
A little joke about you in that one.
That's about my bad back, isn't it? I had people shouting at me in the street about my bad back. And also, doesn't he say in that woman, you're 64? That woman. No, not that one, Scheana. About you.
All right. Nana, about you. I feel
Oh,
like
Nana.
those are
Nana,
the-
yeah.
Nana's the winner.
Nana's the
Yay.
winner.
Yay.
And now
Thank
I
you
am
for
a
playing.
Nana.
And now you are.
Yeah. My
love
stepson,
that.
Lewis,
Yes.
has given us Theo.
Uh-huh.
So it's taken the heat off my other two children.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
so your
awesome.
stepson is Lewis, but your son is Louis.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
So my husband Lincoln had Lewis when he was about 4 years old, 19, I think he was. And Lewis and Lizzie have given us Theo, who is now 15 months. And we share
Yeah, he's
photos,
so-
don't we, Erica?
he's so cute.
So I know all about, well,
Yeah.
obviously, because I see some are online
Yeah.
as well. And Theo. And then, so we have Louis, who's 23, who's an actor, who is Courtney's
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
I love Louis.
And so they hang out when they're here, but he was working back home, so he couldn't come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matty, Louis, and Lewis. And we have 12 years between Matty and Louis.
Right.
Like
Same-
you and
same
Courtney.
as us.
Same
Yeah.
as them,
12 and a half
yeah.
years, isn't
Exact
it?
same.
It's crazy.
I know. I love that. We're going to get into a little more with the kids in a bit, but I wanted to continue with some Bravo while we
Yes,
have you
please.
here. Do you watch Real Housewives of New Jersey?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So did you see this?
Am I getting a quiz?
No. I'm
We're
just going to
just
ask your
okay.
opinion.
Okay,
so,
please.
On this week's episode, I'm not sure if you're caught up, but Jen
I am.
Aiden, and Danielle Cabral. Do you
Awful.
see the fight?
Awful.
Explosive. So Danielle held, for those of you who aren't caught up, Danielle held a charity event, which many of the women, including Jen Aiden, went to. They posted about it, blah, blah, blah. Jen then suggested that Danielle was stealing from the charity by paying vendors out from what was raised, relaying that when she throws events, she pays for all of the vendors and expenses out of pocket, with the funds raised going solely to the charity. So, as a public figure, someone who is very philanthropic, I figured you would know proper etiquette here. Do you think Danielle is justified in covering the expenses for the charity event from the funds raised and then donating the net proceeds to the charity? Or does it sound like Jen was just trying to make Danielle look bad here
Yeah.
by bringing this
The,
up?
the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am not
I
a Jen.
have to agree.
I'm not a Jen Aiden fan. Never have been.
Really?
No, I'm really not.
Oh, I love her.
No, I'm really not. And I honestly, I love. Listen, we love the conflict. We're glad we love these shows. We're glad we're not in the conflict, but we kind of,
I am.
you know, yeah, you are. But as a viewer, you're thinking, oh God, I'm glad I'm not in that situation. But there is human nature that we quite like to
That was
see.
intense.
However,
we were watching it together.
I just thought that behavior from them was just really, really tacky. I thought it was unnecessary. And I've since actually heard a lot of comments about people who are from New Jersey saying, who wants to be in that friendship group? Why would you want to have behavior like
pretty
that?
toxic.
And then everyone seemed to gather around Jennifer Aiden when actually she pushed Danielle
She
first.
She did it first.
You know,
then-
and I thought, you know, that thing about, you know, she was saying to Danielle, you should have put up the business on the screen and everything. And she said, well, you didn't really contribute to the event. And she said, I showed up. It's like, big deal you
She
showed
only
up.
had her businesses on the
Yeah.
step and repeat.
No, that was
But-
one thing. I'm like, okay, well, if Aiden Plastic Surgery isn't contributing money to the charity,
their
then
name
no,
shouldn't
it
be
should
on
not
it.
be on the step and repeat.
Do you know, if I travel somewhere to go to a charity event, do I put my receipt in for transport? no, I would normally cover my own if I'm in a
Right.
position to. Some people aren't in a position to.
Mhm.
Not everybody has loads of money. So, but if you have thrown a charity event, and it's like the charity ball that I have every single year. I don't do the organising of it, but we raise money every year. We've raised over £1 million over the years for this charity Gem Appeal for genetic conditions in children. But people who put it on have to recoup their costs because they're quite they're a lot. And then everything obviously is profit, which Danielle Jen Aiden was trying to infer, like you said, that she was kind of taken off the back of the charity.
And I don't think Danielle said she took anything or paid for the transportation, I think is what part of it
I think
was
she covered the expenses of
Okay.
it or whatever. I think that
Gotcha.
was said somewhere. And Jen's
Yeah.
like, well, when I throw charity events, like I pay for everything out of pocket.
And she said, but you're a trillionaires as well. You know, so
Yeah, but I mean, Danielle was up in Jen's face, but Jen did not have to. And it wasn't just like a pushing back. It was a hard shove.
it really was.
And it wasn't Danielle just throwing a drink
She's
into
like
Jen's face.
smashed it
I mean,
on her.
she took that glass and hit her upside the head. It was crazy.
It was awful. And
Yeah.
because I always think, what do the kids think when they, listen, I've made some mistakes on screen and off. I was a drinker for a long time. I've been sober 12 years and there are things that I did on screen and off,
Congratulations.
thank you,
That's
that I regret. And I put my kids through it, especially Matty, Louis less so because he was only sort of like 9 when I got sober. So I know that I've made mistakes on and off screen. I mean, I did Big Brother. I got my tits out on the second night and ran around.
Makes for great TV.
It did make for great TV. It didn't make for great family life when I came out. But, so like I say, but I think that was just horrible behavior. And I think I would be mortified if I was the children to see my parents acting in that way.
And then there's Bill Aiden just sitting there at the table.
Oh,
as
Bill.
Yes, so Bill.
Danielle comes in and just yells at him, "Your
Oh
wife!"
my
and he's
God,
like,
you got to sleep with the devil. But
Yeah.
and Teresa and Louis, I mean, oh God, I'm obsessed with that show.
yeah.
I think Dolores is going down a dodgy path with Paul again.
Ooh.
I know
Yeah.
Scheana loves Dolores and she's friends with
I
Teresa
do.
too,
It's
but
like, I mean,
I don't know
I'm
about
I
friends
love
with a lot
Dolores.
of them. Yeah.
Why is he not getting divorced?
No, I asked the same question.
I mean, we're not
She's asked the
talking
same
about
question.
9 months.
Yeah.
We're talking
12
about
years,
12
what, 12 years?
years.
I know.
I didn't like it when he said to her at the table, and I quite like Paul, but and I really like Dolores, but I didn't like it when he said, "What, you think I'm going to get divorced and then just propose to you
And-
the next
yeah.
day?"
And he's already talked about having the engagement ring and
Yes,
everything.
right.
So
That's
I
it.
don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't know. But hey, they're going into electrical business together.
They
so
are.
there's
They
a commitment
There is.
Okay.
from him.
There is.
And also, didn't we hear that Danielle maybe got suspended, but not Jen for
I
that
read
fight?
that yesterday.
You
I mean,
did? but
Everything on the internet is true.
Of
that
course,
you read.
it has to be true if I
So-
read it. But I did read that. I honestly don't remember the article, but I did tell Scheana. I don't know if it's true, but I did read that Danielle was suspended, but not Jen.
Well, that's
Don't
appalling
know.
because that
I don't
was-
know if that's true. Any clue? Okay.
I don't
Yeah, I'm
know.
not sure, but I did read that. But I've read
That
some other
was-
stuff too.
Where did you read it?
It
Twitter?
Was,
Yeah.
it was either Twitter or
Probably.
Instagram. Let's be real. And I said when I said that, I said I don't know if this is true,
That's
but
me
I did
always.
read
I'll
that.
be talking to someone. I'll
I
be
think
like,
it
"Oh my
was
god, I
Twitter.
read this article." No,
X.
that means I either saw a TikTok or saw a tweet about it.
Yeah.
That's what.
I
Do
know.
you know
code
what
word
they
for
do
read
at
this
my
article.
work now? This thing of you saying that, and I don't know if you have this, but the whole of the press and even sometimes this show that I work on, we will do the meeting and they'll say, there was outrage about something that you said, and I go, no, there wasn't outrage. Doris from Darlington, one person on Twitter was outraged about it.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend that there was and the next thing you look online and it's like, the fans were outraged. It's like, no, they weren't. It
But
was
I love
one
how you
person.
I love how you post things on your story too, and like just shout it out too when things are said.
I
about
do
you.
sometimes.
I have seen that.
A
and I
lot
like that.
of the times, and God, you know more than anybody. You have to let it wash
Yeah.
over you, otherwise
Yes,
you would.
Erica, let it wash over you.
You do, but it's hard and it's very
I know it
hard.
is.
I'm the same if I
I
see
know.
things about Matty much more than if I
Sure.
see things about me much more.
And see, and you, like me, you're going to see things a lot more about Maddie as I do about Scheana. You don't see things much about Louis as I don't see about Courtney.
That's right.
So it's tough. We're
It's
in
really
very
a-
much the same position when it comes to those things.
But sometimes I sometimes I look for things as well. And then I think, well, hang on a minute. I'm feeling like I'm in the middle of some kind of media storm, but it's not. It's because I'm looking. No one else in this world
You're in the
is
Swiftie
Googling my
storm.
name. The Swiftie storm.
It's when you look for things, that's when you get hurt. Like you
That
can't
is.
like be going and
It
looking
is.
and then getting your feelings hurt and then being like, why did I see this? It's
And
like,
I mean, it was Mark,
Mhm.
gosh, probably, I don't know how many seasons ago, who said, like, stay out of the comments, quit talking back. And I try. And I do have these little voices in my head that tell me to stop. And
I put them on
try.
blast sometimes. So,
I know, same.
So, somebody the other day, I had done a show with Stacey Solomon, who's a very popular presenter in our country, and she does the show now and again. Stacey had come on, and we'd had a discussion on a discussion show where you're supposed to discuss things and maybe disagree.
Wow.
So we disagreed on something. It was about young people and the work ethic. And since COVID, have Gen Z become a bit more lazy and a bit more entitled? It was one of those kind of loose women-y topics. And Stacey said something to do with nurses in the NHS, which provoked a great big reaction. And I actually agreed with her. And then afterwards, Twitter was, somebody said, Stacey Solomon wiped the floor with Denise Welch. So, of course, all the online press was that she wiped the floor with me. And then I got in from this thing at night and I just happened to look and it said, one journalist said, Stacey Solomon, in inverted commas, refuses to work with Denise Welch after the brutal row. And I put it on, that's probably what you saw, and I put it on my stories and I got I tagged the journalist in. And I just said, what gives you the right to make up a complete lie about a friend of mine, Stacey Solomon, where we had a disagreement on a show where we are encouraged to disagree about things. It's a talk show. And to say that she won't work with me. Anyway, she got back to me privately and said, I would never do anything to upset you. And I said, well, hang on a minute. Well, how do you think that made me feel? When you wrote, Stacey will no longer work with Denise Welch, which was a complete lie. How do you think it made me feel?
Yeah.
And she said, we were just picking up on fan comments. I said, no, they're not fan comments. They're troll comments.
Troll comments.
But, papers are struggling. We know they'll do anything for clickbait.
Yeah. I was going to say the best feature, though, is the hidden word feature on Instagram. And obviously, this can't
What even
control
is it?
other people's posts, but you can, pick specific words and, hide them from your comments. So at least you don't have to see them, But that doesn't help tweets.
Too many words for me to.
Oh my
have to
God.
hide right now.
But you could even hide emojis.
But you understand what Courtney's saying, right?
Not really.
Okay, so explain.
So you could hide the words Stacey from your comments. If you you were getting so many comments about wow, I can't believe you and Stacey aren't going to work together anymore. You could hide the word Stacey and then no comments would show up for as long as you have that.
I
hidden
see.
comment.
As long as that story is going
and
going
then you
on.
can go and
I just
delete.
want to say, Stacey, I don't want to hide you because I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but I remember when Summer's name got leaked and that one, was it Ryan Bailey?
Yeah.
I was going around telling everyone I know Scheana's baby's name. It's going to be named Summer. We hid the name Summer from your comments, but it wasn't until Summer was probably almost a year old. We were like, oh my God, we never unhid the word Summer. So people were probably commenting Summer is so cute.
Sheena
oh my
would
God,
never see it.
We never saw them.
No.
Yeah. Would you ever do an unscripted docuseries? Something like that, like a Housewives?
Lincoln and I have been approached. And we did a series last year called Unbreakable, which we won,
I didn't know that.
which was the kind of couples challenges and stuff. Lincoln's a very successful international artist. But he's like me. I think we both take our work very seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. And when my dad died 3 years ago now in September, it really broke my heart and my husband's heart. He was very close to him. We decided that sometimes you get offered things which are outside your normal work thing, and you think it's either not enough money or, oh God, no, I'm not going to do that. It'll take away from this, that, and the other. And we thought, bollocks to that. If something sounds like it's going to be fun. Like last year we did Celebrity Hunted, where we had to escape. We had to escape. It hasn't been on yet. It's coming on at the beginning of next year. But that was quite exciting, and that does show areas of relationship. The only thing that would worry me about, my 2 children would probably never come to the house. They would literally, if ever they come to the house and they remotely see a camera, you hear the car reversing out of the drive. But I've seen what it can do. to relationships and friendships.
Yeah.
You've got to be strong, you know,
Thick skin.
to survive it and have a very, very thick skin. And as I'm older and I feel, because my husband Lincoln is 15 years younger than me, so I've married my carer.
Hell yeah.
I am looking after myself in my dotage. I feel so lucky to have found the love that I have at this stage. I would be terrified about, you know. But I think, would I do a reality sort of, for sure, definitely now. I think it's the way it's going.
Yeah.
You know, it's as I used to be scared to say my love of American reality because as an actress, I felt I was depriving people of, not that I would have the position to deprive people of work, but I felt I should be saying, it's taking all our jobs, it's taking all our budget. And I just love it. It's American reality for me, though, not British reality that I
Interesting.
love.
What about Love Island?
I see that one of the girls from the UK, the Irish girl,
She's on UK this season?
Maura
US?
Higgins, she's hosting the after show for your show, isn't she?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
you
did
know
see
what?
that.
I skip those episodes. Honestly, I don't watch the after
Because
sun.
my only connection to it is
She's adorable, though.
2019. She is adorable.
So
2019, when I was here, something came up on Lincoln on Google Alert, and it said Chris from Love Island said his claim to fame is his dad was engaged to Denise Welch, and I went, what on earth? And Chris Taylor, who was in it. Chris now does the podcast back there, really good-looking guy. I was engaged to his dad, Rob, when I was 18, when I was at school.
Wow.
Yeah, my
Wow.
little connection.
Tea.
And he
That's
was with that Maura Higgins. So
I think the UK, I think it's perfect how it is. And I love watching it. And I love the
love
little
it.
phrases
Yeah.
that come from
Yeah.
it. And I feel like
We do watch it with subtitles, though, because
I have
sometimes
to.
some of the accents are so strong, we can't really understand what they're
But it was
saying.
funny because like I've only heard the name Joey Essex. I'm not familiar with his career at all.
We
But I
looked him
saw
up.
a tweet and it was like, two Americans, Joey Essex going on Love Island UK is equivalent to either DJ Pauly D from Jersey Shore or Scott Disick going in as a regular Bachelor contestant.
that's exactly what it would be.
Yeah.
It would be like Scott Disick going in and being just like a regular
Normal
person.
Islander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, well, we're going to take one more little break and we'll be right back. All right, so I know I'm always talking about Brock and Summer on this show, but you know who I haven't talked about in a while, and that's Penny Lane and Salem, my two first kids. And because they were my first kids, my fur babies, I always want to make sure that I am giving them quality food to prolong their life as long as possible because now they're Summer's kitties too. So we recently got an order from Smalls, and I'm telling you, this cat food is so gourmet that if I didn't tell Brock it was cat food, he might have had it for dinner. It's like they say, you know, happy cat, happy life, or something like that. I think I've heard that before, but it's true. And when my cats are eating good, they are happy. So you've got to try Smalls. It's like if you're still feeding your cat like kibble, I mean, Smalls cat food is protein packed. They have recipes made with preservative free ingredients that you would find in your fridge, and it's all delivered straight to your door. That's why veterinarians.org rates Smalls 10 out of 10 for ingredient quality. My cats love Smalls way more than a lot of other previous foods that they've had. I also love that my house doesn't smell like cat food, especially when someone comes over to cat sit for me and I come home and they didn't, you know, eat all of their food. It doesn't smell like their old food used to. But yeah, we can finally open a packet of cat food and not get nauseous. And I actually recognize the ingredients in a packet of Smalls food. It's so good. I also want to point out, after making the switch to Smalls, 90% of cat owners reported overall health improvements. And that is a big deal, especially when you have older cats like me. Now is the time to make the switch to Smalls. Head to smalls.com/goodasgold and use promo code goodasgold at checkout for 50% off your first order plus free shipping. That's the best offer you'll find, but you have to use my code goodasgold for 50% off your first order. One last time, that's promo code goodasgold for 50% off your first order plus free shipping.
You know what I'm interested in?
Yeah.
Is you know, like the Valley.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which I'm enjoying.
Same.
I'm really enjoying it. I didn't know if I would, but I really am. But what I find interesting is, say you've got who I know is an old friend of yours, say you've got Janet and her boyfriend, her husband, what it was called, Jason, and then you've got the couple who've broken up, Jesse and
Michelle.
I find it so bizarre because obviously normally as an actress you're working and you're ignoring the camera because you're an actress, which you are too. When we're a presenter, we're talking to the camera, we know. But to suddenly live a life like you guys do, which is your supposed normal life, and then these cameras, how is everybody so natural? I don't get it. I always think that, is it something with British people that they would be more stilted, or everybody just seems to immediately live in a world where the cameras are, I mean, Erica, you sometimes do it, don't you? And how many cameras are in the room with you guys?
It depends. So if it's a smaller scene, like if it's something like this, just the four of us, there's only going to be 2 big cameras. When it's a big group, when it's, a wedding, something like that, then you will have several more. We have 3 crews usually, and there's 2 cameras on each crew, but then sometimes they'll have a smaller cam, like a producer cam and whatnot. But it's not so many where it's overwhelming. I think the greatest thing about a first season of a reality show is no one is in their head yet. They haven't been trolled on social media yet.
Yes.
They don't know what to expect. They are their most authentic selves. And there's just something so beautiful about that.
They don't know the noise that's coming.
But then it comes, and then you get season 2, and I guarantee it's going to be different because now people know what to expect. Now they're more conscious of the way they have conversations and what they're going to say and who's going to hate them if they don't like this person, if they don't invite this person, and da-da-da-da. I think Michelle and Jesse, their personalities, I think, are great for reality television. Michelle very much tells it like it is, but she also has never watched reality TV. So she had no idea what she was getting into.
She had no idea of even the concept of it, hardly.
Jesse has been in entertainment for many years. He modeled with Anna Nicole Smith back in the 90s, and he's been in entertainment for a long time. So I think the beauty of Michelle not ever watching reality TV, she was just like, I'm just me. Oh, there's cameras here, no big deal. Janet, I think, was someone who was an avid reality TV watcher, but with her being on Vanderpump Rules with me, she got a taste of it. So I think that helped her.
Oh, she was on that with you. I don't remember little bits here and there.
She was in the wedding, and so she was around filming a lot.
I think the person that you can see the change it's made seeing him at the reunion is West from Summer House.
Yeah.
Because you can see him thinking he's cock of the North and everybody's loved him, and then obviously he's been not thrown under the bus, but you could see him
did it to himself.
Right? Yeah, he kind of
fell.
He kind of did.
Yeah.
Interesting when you see all the trolls start. And
totally.
Yeah. Christian's still with
Luke.
Yes.
Luke? Yes.
Yeah.
And cameras pick up soon, like in a few
do.
days, in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They did not have a
and
reunion.
Jackson and Brittany aren't back together. Do they still do a podcast together?
Mm-hmm.
They do.
And they co-parent really well together.
They do.
For now.
Yeah.
I think when one of them starts dating someone, it's going to really change that dynamic. I hope for as long as possible they can continue co-parenting in peace.
Yeah.
But that'll be really interesting, I think, to see next season too, is where it all goes.
And they've said that as well.
I don't think anyone really knows.
No.
Yeah, they don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
I think Brittany's more concerned with how season 2 is going to be for them filming more so than Jax. I mean, I've heard those words out of her mouth.
About the fact that
she's just not sure how.
So in a normal world, you wouldn't have to spend that much time together with anybody, would you?
But you know what? They do spend that much time together.
Oh, do they?
They really do. They spend a lot of time together because of Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow.
Well,
Okay.
speaking of entertainment, having kids in entertainment, I wanted to ask, because obviously both of your kids have followed paths into careers, in the entertainment industry.
Sure.
Maddie, obviously music, Louis with acting. Knowing the, say, like peaks and pits of living, just this life yourself, was there ever a moment that you wanted to kind of steer them away from the entertainment industry?
No, because I think it would have been impossible to do so. And also, I know what the pitfalls are of my business, but I still love it. And I've gotten so much out of my life as an actress. The industry has changed. That's what worries me more with Louis, because it is a different world.
Yeah.
You know, COVID really fucked our industry in so many ways. And then it never really recovered, especially because Louis's done mostly television, but he's desperate to do some theatre, and he's so good. I think if he hadn't been as good as he is, I maybe would have tried to steer him away because, you know, we all know we have friends whose kids maybe aren't as talented, and we know the competition and how competitive and edgy it is to get on. But he's very, very good. But I think that with both my kids, there was never any desire for the fame aspect because they grew up with two parents who are actors, and their dad Tim is a wonderful actor, very well known in the UK too. And they spent not their lives, but they came on sets. They know how boring and monotonous it is 99% of the time to be on a television set.
Yeah.
They also grew up with a mom who was in the tabloids a lot. I had a target on my back. I'm not saying poor me, boo-hoo. It is what it is. But I was also hacked by the newspapers from
I
2000.
wanted to ask about that.
Oh, you did? Okay. So shall I just, because it kind of plays into to it now. So my behavior was occasionally a bit out there. I think that there are no excuses for behaviors, but there are reasons for behaviors. So my bad relationship with alcohol started as a result of severe postnatal depression that I had with Matty, who was born in 1989. And I had a wonderful pregnancy, and I was the typical blooming woman in pregnancy. You know, I loved it.
Yeah.
And we were having a much wanted son. We were in a very committed, loving relationship at the time. So everything on paper was perfect. And I was plunged into this hospitalized, I was on the verge of a puerperal psychosis, which is when people completely and utterly lose their mind.
Wow.
And I didn't know who the baby was at times. And then this black suicidal depression came over me. In fact, Matty's song, She Lays Down, which is on one of his albums, is about his grown-up version of my depression. And and so when he was about, it was, people say, how long did that last? It kind of has lasted for 35 years.
Wow.
But the last 5 years I think since the end of menopause, something has happened, because I spent 20 years saying to people, could you please look at the hormonal origins of this? You know, women have a baby, they push a bowling ball out of their foo-foos. You know, this incredible thing happens. There's a chemical chaos, and yet you're refusing to accept that there may be some hormonal aspect to what's happened.
Right.
And eventually, after 20 years, I found this guy who found that I was so deficient in estrogen, he didn't know how I'd survived. And that's when I started to make a slow recovery. And I was a bit resentful, really, that these options weren't maybe offered to me earlier on. But as a result of that, I was pretty trying to self-medicate when I was doing Coronation Street, which was a very, it was a big soap opera at the time. And, well, it's still a very popular soap opera, but it was huge, just the way that there was only 4 channels on telly. And I was juggling a lot, and I started to drink. And the only way I could stop the pain was to do drugs. And I got down a very, very, very rocky road. And I think that when people talk about taking their lives with depression, it's not that they want to die, it's that they want to stop the pain. And I have become a huge advocate since then of talking out about mental illness, because you just want to stop the pain.
Yeah.
So if that is reaching for drink or cocaine or anything that will stop the pain, it's what you do. And unfortunately, that became a habit to me, and it was very hard to get off that, you know, very, very hard to get off that roller coaster. The newspapers were hacking, but we didn't know at the time. So I just used to think, hang on a minute, why do the papers, they're always there. If I come out of a nightclub, if I came out of a restaurant, Erica, and I've been told this by paps that I was actually caught in a conversation with recently, and they said, you had a massive target on your back. We were told that if you came out of a restaurant, even if you just blinked, we had to get that photo so that we could say Denise stumbles out of the restaurant.
Wow.
Because that's how we'd get the papers sold. And yet some of the time I wasn't the kind of alcoholic that woke up in the morning and reached for the cupboard and drank vodka. I was a binge alcoholic when I was, you know, when I was away and working, and it was a horrible time. And I was hacked for 7 years, and not only was I hacked, as in they were listening to my phone messages. They actually, and they admitted this, the Mirror Group, they had put bugs in my hotel room.
Oh my gosh.
They had hired private investigators to put, and I was just like, that's why I get so supportive of Prince Harry and Meghan and people like that. I'm a huge, a big fan of them, because I think, stop saying that you didn't do that. Because if you did that to little old me,
Right.
Of course, they're
just
doing it to them.
a jobbing actress on the television, please don't tell me that you weren't putting bugs in their, bedrooms.
Right.
But it meant that I lived through a horrendously paranoid time of never trusting anybody.
Right.
And I am like you. I am incredibly close to my family. But you get to the point sometimes when you think, but nobody could know that. I told one person that. And it was absolutely a horrendous time. And Matty was subject to, every single week we have these 4 main weekly magazines, like you have, the similar sort of things that are on the stand. And I was always in drug hell or marriage hell or this hell or that hell. And Matty didn't tell me till really he was much more grown up that, he was bullied at school for that. Because, but he never said that to me, because I was always on the front of these magazines. And sometimes it probably was my fault, but many, many times it wasn't, Scheana.
Right.
Many times it really wasn't. It was just, I was a very easy target. And, I met the guy for ITN News. They asked me, would I meet the guy who hacked my phone? And I said, okay, I will. And he came round to the apartment that I had in London, and they only showed, because it was the news at 10, so they only showed a small clip.
Yeah.
But we actually spoke for an hour and a half.
Wow.
And he'd turned whistleblower.
Okay.
So he had actually stood up
just
in the
gonna
courts
ask.
and said, this is the person that I hacked. He hacked 2 of us. But the people who told him to hack, the people at the top of the tree, they didn't get anything. They weren't even called to court. He was given an 18-month suspended sentence. And when he was told to stake out my hotel room in London, and he saw these 2 private detectives, I can't remember the name of them even, it sounded like a joke comedy series. He saw them coming out of my bedroom opposite. They said they'd been employed by the Mirror Group, who obviously are much different now, to put a bug in my hotel room. And he went back to his bosses and he said, I'm out. I can't do this. I can't do this anymore.
That is so crazy.
Why does it feel like it's worse in the UK? Like, I know Britney Spears had like the worst of it, like in her day and stuff. But
that's Britney Spears. I mean, this is like.
So why does it seem like the UK is so awful with the tabloids?
The UK press, it's terrible, Courtney, and they really don't care, but it was kind of like, listening to this guy, because he said, he was in a position whereby he was told he would lose his job if he didn't do it. And he had a family and he's not proud of it. But at least he turned whistleblower and started to go against people. But it was an awful time. So that's an incredibly, probably very boring version of why my kids saw the downside of this business.
That's so crazy.
But Matty, from age 13, started this band. So the 1975 are no overnight success.
Right.
They started in my garage.
We talked about
So
I know, I
those
love
songs
that.
like Chocolate, when we were doing the quiz, those songs like Chocolate, Matty wrote when he was very, very young.
Yeah.
And now I see that as hopefully my pension, whereas at the time I'd be shouting, shut the fuck up! I've got to go to work tomorrow.
But I think with you two, you saw the talent so much in Maddie
for
and
sure.
in
I
Louis
did.
as an actor, and that's why you wouldn't have wanted to discourage
them. And I would
them.
never have wanted to discourage Matty. I couldn't do anything with music. I know nothing about music.
Yeah.
It's like I was dreading even, I go to the concerts and I see people like Courtney singing the words of every single song. I just do the, like Chocolate, join in like those naff people
But if
at
you
a disco.
discourage them, it probably only want to make them want to do it more.
But also, as I say, I saw that Matty was a true musician and songwriter.
So talented.
If anybody, there was a couple of times over the years that, people would come and say, because Matty was a drummer, he was the drummer originally. And then he sort of moved up the front. And the rest is history. But there was a couple of times that people came and they wanted to manufacture this and everything. He ran a mile from all of that. He is a
good
true
for him.
musician. And Louis has just grown as an actor. He knows the pitfalls, but he has complete faith in himself as an actor. The great thing about it is he's much more together, because if he does a self-tape that he really wants, and he does an amazing self-tape, and he doesn't get the job, he knows not to go, oh my God, I'm dreadful. Oh my God, I'm the worst actor in the world. He knows if he's done a good tape, he's done the best of his ability, but it is because he is not what they are looking for.
Right.
And you can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
You know, we know you walk in a room, they know immediately if you are right for that role, no matter how good you are. I think the awful thing about COVID for actors is that it's taken the in the room from us, you know. Louis had an in the room, which is why he's not here. And it was the first in a long time. Because I know for myself as an actress, I probably got 90% of the jobs because people liked me more than they maybe liked the other 5 people who were equally able to do the job. So self-taping just takes away that, that personality.
Yeah, you don't have your presence in the room. It's not as personable.
It's really, you know, that really bugs me. Then, of course, actors' strike happened. And that's, you know, knocked things back again. So it's a tough time for the business generally.
Totally. Speaking of your kids in the industry, I wanted to ask, because obviously you've had your own successful career and have been stopped by fans and paparazzi for many years. But do you remember the first time that someone approached you for a picture autograph because you're Maddie's mom?
Oh my God. It was a few years ago, and we'd come over because Matty was doing Jimmy Kimmel. So is it Jimmy Kimmel that's down by the Hollywood?
Yes.
That sort of area. And I was walking. I was walking along, and I think I was with my dad. My dad used to love it over here, and I was with my dad. And it was a bunch of British people. So I heard, "Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!" And I just, the usual, you know, "Oh, can we have a picture? What are you doing here?" Blah blah blah. And this woman was shouting, "Louise, Louise, look!" And she sort of had a hold of me like I was just this sort of thing in the street. She had a hold of me, and she went, "Louise," and I said, "Come on, Louise." And Louise just went, "Oh, Matty's mom." But the funny thing is, it's such a good question because I've told this on a show back at home. I can tell, especially in the UK, I can tell when somebody, you know, we're used to people recognizing us. It's just part of our life, isn't it? It just is what it is. I can tell when I look over people who recognize me because I'm Denise and I do Loose Women or the different shows I've done, whatever. But I can see when it's people who know me as Matty's mom.
The mom.
Because it is like I have given birth to the Messiah.
Oh my gosh.
And, you know, I had someone when he was playing the O2 come up, and Lincoln said, "Come on," you know, she was going, it was like this crying. And Lincoln said, "Come up and ask her for a photo." And she touched me and she just sort of burst into tears, you know.
That's so funny.
It's absolutely crazy. But I do like it. But out here, you know, I get talked about in the press out here for many reasons, but a lot of it is Matty's mom and the publicity around Matty that often happens, you know, especially in the last year.
Yeah, for sure. I just wondered what that was like, you know, just proud mom moment where you're like, oh, it's not me, it's my son.
It's very, well, the thing is, if they know I'm in town, like when we were in New York when he was playing Madison Square Garden, we'll come out the hotel and there's maybe 100 people outside the hotel. And obviously I'm not Matty, but I'm kind of like second best, you know. But I'm just mostly proud, you know, out here.
I love it.
I love that.
The press is crazy around him, and that's not something that he was ever used to.
Well, I think just the press in general is crazy. You mentioned, you know, just with Meghan Markle, I know you've been very vocal just about how she's been treated in the UK media.
And I get trolled terribly for that.
Yeah, but why do you think they go so hard after her? Do you think it's racism? Do you think it's because she's American, because she had her own successful career as an actress? Like, what is the issue?
Sheena, it drives me mad. And because I'm a Harry and Meghan supporter, I don't know them at all. I have heard that they are aware that I support them, which I'm glad, because I really, really feel for them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that I'm anti-royal. I have nothing against the royal family. I just feel, and the reason I picked up this guy that was on the show, this guy called Dickie Arbiter, who is a real sort of up the king's arse type of guy, you know. And he's also one of the people that was, when the Meghan Markle and Harry documentary came out, he was one of the people that they discovered had been paid to talk as if he had seen the documentary before it even came out. Okay, so I knew when this guy came on the TV, and he was having a go at them, and I just kind of lost it, you know, because I said, Harry is a kid whose father was, as we know, unfaithful to his mother from the get-go, okay? From the get-go. I am sure that there is protocol and reasons why he had to marry somebody to produce heirs to the throne. I get it all. But to that little boy, he had a daddy who never really loved mummy. His mummy died, and he was forced by protocol to walk behind the coffin, to then accept this woman who he never liked, Camilla. I have nothing against Camilla. I don't know her. Yeah. She makes King Charles happy. Fill your boots. But this young child went through that. And I just feel that there are other things that have gone on that some people maybe know about, that when Meghan came into this family, there was no way that she could be the people's princess. It had to be Kate Middleton. And I think that there was racism involved in it. Of course there was. Like when Princess Diana was with Dodi Fayed. You know, the same sort of thing. They don't want, and I'm not saying this is the actual family. I'm saying the people who look after the royal family, the men in grey suits and everything, probably did not like this at all. The thing that gets me about Meghan Markle is she was in those rooms before she married Harry. You know, if anyone does their research into Meghan Markle, okay, she was a moderately successful actress and had a sort of, you know, successful show and blah, blah, blah. But she was a young woman of colour speaking out for women of colour and equality for women from a very, very young age. She was on the stage talking for the United Nations. She went all over the place talking on behalf of those issues. So although there was obviously an elevated status given to her as a princess, she still was in those rooms. That is why Harry fell in love with her, not just because she was a beautiful girl off the television in America. You know, he fell for that side of her personality. And I think what got me, I referred to my own battle with severe postnatal depression. We know that Meghan struggled terribly with postnatal depression. She said, and I believe, that she was not given the support, because my autobiography from years ago is called Pulling Myself Together, because if I had £1 for everybody that said to me, pull yourself together. And I don't know, so, you know, I'll get quoted as if I know this. This is my own perception of the situation. He just thought, I am not seeing this wife who I love, who has got mental health issues, going through what my mother did. And I am taking her away. And they are living their life. They aren't harming anybody. And all the press want to do at home is, Harry's not welcome back. There's no room for Harry. And I'm screaming, he doesn't want to come back. He's living in the sunshine in Montecito and he's having a great old time.
The Americans love them.
Right.
You know, but you see, they make out that you guys don't. And I know from being here that you guys do.
We do.
Absolutely.
Everyone loves them.
They aren't hurting anybody.
No.
They've got 2 beautiful children, you know, and they're not harming anybody. And I get so angry because I'm so in a minority at home.
Yeah. Wow.
It's crazy.
Like, it's just like everyone's like brainwashed.
Brainwashed.
Yeah.
Really brainwashed about it because the media are, and I know that there are people in the palace that force all this information out to sort of brainwash people into thinking that we hate Harry and Meghan, when actually, as you've just, you know, quite rightly said, that's
they've
not
like
the case
decided
at all.
for you.
They've decided for everybody.
No, we love them. One thing that I know my sister doesn't love to wrap up the podcast today, it's just, it might be a UK US thing, I don't know, but last week on the podcast we had a discussion about flushing tampons, just to completely do a 180 conversation. Okay. People had lots of opinions about it. I've seen the comments, okay?
I've seen a lot
However,
of comments.
someone brought it to my attention that in the UK recently, I guess there was an event labeled as Fatberg, Fatberg,
Right.
when tampons led to a giant clog in the sewer system.
This is in the UK?
Yes, apparently. This happened in the UK.
Okay.
So where did we learn that flushing tampons was okay? Was it my mother? Is what I have to ask.
Blame me.
Because Why else would I have always been
I think
flushing
you
But I
just-
tampons
thought
my
that
whole
we
life?
could flush
Oh
tampons.
always
my
flushed.
gosh. You guys
I
just
always
you
flushed.
haven't followed the rules. Anywhere you go in public, let's not
Okay.
talk about at home for a second.
It's got to
in
be a
public,
generational thing.
It says above the toilet,
Yeah,
please
it does
do
say
not
that.
flush feminine products.
Sure.
And then at other places, it'll say, please do not flush anything other than toilet paper. Also, I'm scared of clogging someone's toilet. It happened to me this year at like 6 in the morning.
Not from a
and
tampon.
not from a
From a poo,
tampon.
from a poo.
It was literally just pee in like 100-year-old toilet. Like it was like a really old building.
Yeah.
And then it flooded the bathroom at like 6 in the morning and he had no plunger. And it's New Year's Day.
Oh my God,
and
it's my
nowhere's
worst
open.
nightmare.
So why would you put yourself in a position to potentially clog a toilet?
I know. I
Well-
hear you, and it makes sense.
And I know.
Do you flush? Well, I mean, not you
Well,
don't
I mean,
have a period
how many
anymore.
I
I can't
but-
remember.
But did I? Yes.
Yes.
And
Well,
and
we
I
used
had
to take
brothers that are
cardboard.
plumbers who
Blame
would have
her.
said absolutely
we
not.
had the ones with the like Tampax with
the
the
cardboard.
cardboard.
Yeah.
So you took the cardboard off and you kind of
Yeah.
wrapped that up and put that away. But the actual tampon,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
put down the toilet.
no, absolutely.
See?
No, I mean,
It's got to be a generational
was-
thing.
It is. It must
I
be.
was just in the Midwest this week and we were at a venue and there was a toilet and it reminded me of this and it said something about how like, please don't even flush the toilet paper because we don't want it going out to our river. We don't want any of this going out to the river. So that your tampon would have went out to their river.
Well, but in places like Turkey, when you go to the toilet, you're not even supposed to flush your toilet paper.
yeah.
So you've got to. Oh God, it's just
Yeah,
I
no.
also
Yeah,
saw
interesting.
some tampons used to be marketed as flushable. Okay, there's flushable wipes.
Maybe
There's
a long
flushable.
time ago.
Oh,
Those
well,
ones probably
always flushable,
I had a period
Erica.
a long time
Yes.
those
ago.
ones probably weren't even safe for your body. Like I bet so much has changed.
It has.
I had to get the opinion of
blocking the toilet
generational.
generally with other things
Yeah.
is my.
Yeah, I don't wanna
We've
flush
all done that
anything.
at a dinner party. You know, it's just horrendous.
No,
Yeah.
that was horrible. I'm never flush. I'm
Court has
I'm timid to even flush
PTSD
toilet
with-
paper from that scenario.
Yeah, you've
Like,
had PTSD with toilets since you were very young.
Literally, and it was like
We
the middle
know.
of the night. But luckily, my mom sent me a video of how to use a plunger.
I mean, I tried to explain it. Like it was very
Life
early in the
skills.
morning. I tried to explain it all to her. She was in such a panic. She said the water was starting to go out into the hallway.
Was that with because you done a poo?
No,
No,
I
it was
think it was
just. It
that-
was just.
no,
No.
no.
Oh, you weren't
Yeah.
hungover?
Oh, I was
no,
hungover.
she was
I was
hungover,
hungover.
but
Okay, I was
she-
throwing up in the toilet the night before,
So
but
it contributed.
It probably did
Yeah.
contribute to it. But no, I literally just peed. But it was at a really old apartment building here in Hollywood that's been around for like over 100 years.
Yeah.
So I think it was like really old piping and old toilet. Maybe it's because I threw up the night before, but only pee came out. But then my friend only had one towel. So then it
Right.
starts like going into the bathroom, then going into the hallway. So I
was
like at
so- I
least
felt
like
so bad
trying to
for you.
barricade
Oh my gosh.
things. It was a horrible.
Was it
She had
carpet or hardwood?
It was hardwood.
Thank God.
Oh my God.
She had to go
But
at like
don't flush your
CVS
tampons. You don't want to
and-
be me.
Yeah.
I
All
had to go-
right, PSA.
No, it is a generational thing.
Yeah.
It is for sure.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a
was
PSA,
fun.
we're just going to say, don't flush tampons. Well, thank you, ladies, for being here. Fun to
Thank
have my
you. I've
fam back.
loved
And
it.
awesome to get into some shenanigans with
Yeah.
you. Please tell everyone where they can find you online.
Oh my God, I'm never going to shut up about this one ever. It'll be
Hey.
all over the place.
At Denise_Welch, is it?
Is it on Instagram?
I believe
At Denise
so.
_Welch on Instagram. Funny, isn't it, when you don't know your handle? At Real Denise Welch on Twitter, but Twitter's a different.
Yeah, she's
a different-
Denise_Welch
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Yeah, Welch with a C, like
Boom.
Raquel.
And Loose Women. Love it.
Yeah, it's been going. We celebrate 25 years
Wow.
in
Incredible.
September, and I have been doing it for 23 of those. Not all the time, and I had
Yeah.
a 7-year gap. and
Yeah.
it's been a show. You go away, you do a drama series, you come back, you do it. But I've been a fixture of it, being the gobby one, as they call me, on Loose Women. So long may it rain.
I love
Yes.
it. Well, thank you so much for getting into some shenanigans with me. We'll be back next week and got a fun show planned. Okay, bye.
Been searching
Bye.
for this all my life.